care if you never come home. I don't
Well, we welcome Chief Harold Minch, Titusville Police Department, in this morning. Good morning, sir. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to be seen.
End of the month already. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I hate to ask this because there's still another month of summer around here, but you ready for the big trick-or-treat night at the police station?
Yeah, they've actually been gearing up for that since last year. That's mostly Jason Bean, but he's had some offers for help and some people to do some nice displays around town. Have offered to bring some of that toward the police station, so I think it's going to be bigger and better. Bigger and better this year.
I can't believe it's coming up here.
I had a guy bring me wood from a fireplace yesterday, so I stocked up on that. So, I figured I'd start early.
Yeah, that's right. Just in case early and often around here.
In case it got cold. So, now that barn-like structure, is that where horse-like animals hang out?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought. Yeah. It's a barn or not? I mean,
right, yeah.
Had hay bales in it, I'm going to say barn.
We've had enough issues with that story this morning. Hey, I need to ask, because one of the nice things about being in a small town, right, is you get to be a local hero at times.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were that hero last week. This is a fantastic story.
Well, it actually is a good story. I'm glad I got to be a part of it. I was home with some folks and having dinner, and your wife knocked on my door, and she was at the Children's Summer Theater.
Yep.
And I saw Amy. I said, hey, come on in. She says, no. I said, come on in. She says, no, I need your help. I think, what do you need? So I figured something was wrong. She run down from the house. I think that's an awful long way to run. You could have called. So she says, no. She says, there's a kid locked in a locker at the high school. I said, it's 9 o'clock at night. First of all, what are you doing inside the high school? I didn't know they were having
back to school specials.
Yeah, they're having the whole thing. Yeah, so I said, okay. So I'm in a pair of shorts, t-shirt, and flip flops. I said, okay, whatever. Come on, let's go. So we walk across the street and down the thing and into the door. And as you walk in, the lockers are very big here, I guess, because y'all have coats and things. Because where I come from, they're 12 by 12. So the locker is, child size, and there's this costume sticking out of the seam. There's just a little bit of a dress sticking out of it, so it's obvious there's a kid on the end of it. So I knock on. I said, hello, and she talked back and a little upset. So, I ran home, jumped into the phone booth quick, changed into my superhero stuff, the cape and the bow tie and the hat. And I grabbed a crowbar, and because I called the fire department. I said, well, come on over here, bring your nifty open door tools with you, because they've got all that stuff in the truck. And finally I said, it's a locker. It's made out of tin. So I just walked across the street, grabbed a crowbar, and popped it. Poor thing was just beside herself. Obviously, the kids were, doing what
I guess the round of applause for you,
yeah.
Was
very nice. Yeah, very nice. I appreciate it. A great deal. It was. I've told that story a few times, and it is one of those things about being in a small town where you are accessible all the time.
We've never done this on the show, and this is our only Oprah moment. There she is.
Oh, come here. You're welcome. You look much better. Although I did like your dress, it was very nice. Tell me what your name is.
Sophia.
Sophia, it was nice to see you again. Thank you very much.
Hey, Sophia, step over just there you go. Can you say hi?
There you go.
There she is.
Yeah, hey.
This is the young lady. This is what I found when I opened the locker. This was Sophia, so it was worth getting up for.
Yeah.
There are a few times you get to do that, and everybody. There's so much negative said about police officers around the country, and this is not me. I mean, you knocked on any of our doors, and
right.
Every one of them would have come out and would have come across the street and would have done the same thing. And that's what people have to understand, that's what we do. That's what we like to do. It's what we want to do. This is why we do what we do. It's not we like to run around and chase people or any of that business. Safety, Sophia, and children like her, why we do what we do. So thank you.
And she did a great job at the show.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for coming in.
Everyone in our studio audience today will walk away with
a free car.
Oh, look at that.
Give me a hug. Thanks.
Hey, thank you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
You come by the police station anytime, okay, honey? Oh, look at this.
That's the second time he's come to our rescue. So.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Second.
Yes, we were, this past spring, we were down on Spring Street by Perkins.
Oh,
and
that's right.
ran through the intersection with a delivery truck.
Oh, yes.
It was icy. And you helped us out.
I do remember that, and I actually remember that too, sure.
So
Whoa!
He's very highly of you.
Thank you,
Really
Sophie.
appreciate
Well, thank you guys for coming in.
It was a pleasure
That was
to see
great.
you
Thank
again.
you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was very nice. These are power rings, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Some folks call them donuts, but we do not. That was nice. Thank you very much. That was very nice.
This is the only time we've ever had that Oprah
Yeah, because
moment.
I didn't get to see her when I was there because I just went home.
Yeah.
Because again, I wasn't dressed very properly.
But no, you're right. I mean, you talk about the guys on the force. Any one of those guys would have.
Anywhere in the country. I tell people that all the time. There are very few police officers who take this job for evil reasons. There's a couple. We have to weed them out. And then there's others that don't belong. They can't handle the stress. They can't think fast enough. They don't do what they're doing. But, the majority of the 800,000 police officers in this country are good, solid individuals who work very hard to do what they do and give of themselves every day. And I've worked with those people for 30 plus years. That's what makes it worth it. And you do what you have to do when you have to do it. It doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes we're picking up dogs. Sometimes we're chasing people that steal stuff. Sometimes we get to help kids out of lockers. You never know what's coming. That's what makes the job interesting. So it makes it fun.
You haven't chased any naked people into ponds lately, have you?
I'll tell you something. People don't understand that. You might. Getting hold of a naked, sweaty guy for handcuffing is not easy. It really isn't,
There's probably more to handcuff,
in
though.
a briar patch, what do you grab? What do you hold? And when they're slippery, it's very difficult. Again, I don't know how much of that you get, but
I've been a news guy for about as long as you've been a police officer, I guess.
And you do see it. And the problem is in the briar patch, he's going to be bloody now, and that's challenging.
Well, but on the serious side, last month, I mean, we got into a pretty serious conversation about just the drugs that are in this area. But
and that's why that's one of the side effects of some of them is the overheating and bath salts and things like that. That's an obvious side effect. We had so many naked people in South Florida for a little while because of this. And it was
that was just Daytona Beach.
They'd go
wasn't it?
from pool to pool to pool to pool trying to get cooled down, and you'd get this call about guys swimming in people's pools for no reason. Like, and he's naked. Of course he is. Don't be ridiculous. But it's very difficult to, especially if they don't have any hair. If they're shaved head like most people are in the summertime. It's tough. That's a wrestling match. Not one you want to be a part of.
Yeah. I was just telling Mark there was also a story I heard this morning where California has so much marijuana and that they can't export it across state lines because it's illegal, but they have so much of it. Is this part of training for you guys, having to deal with all these things that are coming up with marijuana?
I'm expecting this to be the thing where you see, and I've expected this for years, that marijuana there's a ceiling to that. There's a ceiling to how much you can sell and how many people are going to smoke and how much you can grow and how profitable it's going to be. Because you got to realize that most people that don't smoke marijuana now are not going to say, well, doggone it, it's legal, I'm going to start smoking weed. It just doesn't work that way. It's like everything else. You do what it is you do, and you're not going to start doing that. So I think we're going to see a glut of it in a lot of different places. And you'll see, like every other market we have, regardless of what it is, it'll seek its level, and that'll be the end of it. And, it'll just, it's going to roll off into nobody's really going to care.
There was an interesting report out of Colorado. I think it was the Attorney General in Colorado was saying that he feels that marijuana is a gateway drug to homicide or something like that.
I'd have to see that study. I've not had that issue. And again, you got to remember that some of the things you see, some people will be single issue folks and they try to relate things to it that, and again, I'm not a scientist, but I've been around this thing all my life, and we've got bigger fish to fry. We really do. I don't want kids doing it. I don't want it around. If I could get rid of it, I would. I'd like to get rid of alcohol if I could. It's a scourge on society. But it's not working that way. So now we have to find some ways to deal with the folks who are having problems with it.
We're coming into August. The thoughts of back to school and those last summertime activities with the fairs and festivals coming up. People need to, no matter what community they're going into, just keep in mind those things and slow up, slow down, be cautious of what's going on around you. And this is before we get into the bus safety stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But just again, a reminder that kids are still out. There's still a couple weeks of that.
Yeah. And when you get to school, you got to remember that, some kids going to a new school for the first time, so they're taking a different route. They're not used to crossing Main Street. They're not used to coming down this street. They're not paying attention because they're tired. They're not paying attention because they just don't want to go. They're not paying attention because there's 4 of them not paying attention together. And it's incumbent upon you, if you're driving a vehicle through those places, if you're traversing those places, which in this town is the entire town for about an hour in the morning and about 20 minutes in the afternoon, where you really have to be careful because we got kids crossing the streets everywhere. A lot of them walk. And then we have, 17,000 buses that unload children.
That's right.
4 times it appears. But the schools do a good job in and around the schools, very good job as a matter of fact. And it's not chaotic at all, but you can't add to that. You can't go you got to slow down. It's going to be a slow go through all those areas. So we appreciate it for everybody.
Because it seems like you hear that excuse, I forgot school's back in session. I forgot the buses were out and they stop at the, railroad tracks. And
well, and then people say, if I don't get started by this time, I get behind the buses, and it's a couple of minutes. It really is. It's not going to be forever. They do stop a few times in some of the spots, but it's what it is. Make some extra time.
Anything change with the way things are handled during like Oil Fest when you have an influx of people coming into town?
We actually have Central Avenue open this year, which is different than the last several years. Again, I wasn't here, but I know we had it open at some point and then they closed it. Now it's open again. So we're going to change that a little bit. Most of the happenings will be on Spring and Diamond, with the big car show being at the BSI parking lot. I don't think it's going to change much. It'll change a little bit, move some food vendors and so forth, but I think we'll be fine. I don't think it'll be too tough because that's going to be slow going anyway. We stop them at Franklin and then they're just going to slow through to Perry and then they'll be gone.
Nothing worries you when you have an influx of people come into a community, or is it just...
they come in for a good reason. We didn't have any trouble last year, and they come for a purpose. They're coming with their families if they come, so no, I don't think so. We'll be okay. We're going to have a bike show this year. Will be a little different. Motorcycle show in front of the folks on Diamond Street. That may be a little different crowd. I'm not sure. But again, it's a local crowd, and they're coming for positive reasons. They're not coming for negative reasons, so we're okay. If we had something they could protest, it would bother me, but no.
8:21 is our time. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television, Armstrong in the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. August, I can't believe it's here.
Comes fast, doesn't it?
It does.
Can't believe I've been here over a year already.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and I owe you a PowerPoint. I keep forgetting to send it to you. You asked me for that last week.
Oh, right.
I take the congratulations back then.
Yeah,
so we get the
you.
PowerPoint.
I'm thrilled to be here, and it went very, very quickly. It's gone very, very well. I'm very lucky. As a police chief, I have a very supportive city manager. I have a very supportive council, very supportive citizens, and my officers are good. So, my life is good. My life is easy. And if all those things fall into place, again, all I'm doing is, keeping the plate spinning, keeping the balls in the air. And, that's been relatively easy. It's not been difficult at all. It's been kind of fun. We've enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's been a lot you've taken on, it seems like, from rescuing girls from lockers and...
Yeah, I get to be the chairman of the United Way this year.
Oh, wow.
The campaign. I've just gotten to do everything. I'm on a bunch of boards and, a bunch of happenings.
But you've said in the past, too, doing this outreach, and not just you, but the other officers doing, sled riding events and stuff around trick or treat and, just being out in the community. It's opened the door for the communication with the citizens where they've been able to say to you, hey, this is going on, or I've heard this, or I've seen this.
That's the key to the game here. We don't police people against their will, and if it's information, that's how we work. Most crimes in this country, probably upwards of 90+% of the crimes in this country, are not solved by detective work, as you would gather from television. They're solved by citizens coming forward with information because they were standing there and watched it happen, and they testified to it. And the detective writes it down and puts it together and looks like a hero. So most of it is information gathered from people who were there or know the people that were there and heard about the story later and can tell you something about it. Very little is done by crime scene. Very little is done by us showing up very fast because we get called after the crime's committed anyway. So very little is done like that. And most people, because TV portrays it much different, very little is accomplished without citizen input and help. Very little.
So when you show up to a scene, you're not in your mind humming like the soundtrack to a Who song?
No,
Okay.
I don't do that. No. When I show up, I've got the theme to Superman playing in the background. We just had a burglary and a theft on Friday, and we know who was there, we know who did it, and we got to talk to them. Well, we know everybody involved. I know everybody involved. I knew all the players, and we'll talk to each one of them. And that's in a town this size. That's what it's about. Is looking at them going, no, we cannot put up with it. Sit down. You need to tell me the story, and we're gonna fix it. And eventually they do, because where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna spend the money? Where are you gonna? That's why we don't have burglaries and thefts, because who are you gonna sell it to? It's probably gonna be your cousin. Chances are you're related, or at least you know each other, or somebody knows you. So, and they see people coming and going. We'll knock on the doors next door down the road, and soon as I saw the so and so boy come in there this morning, and we all know him. So that's how it works, and that's been the beautiful thing here, is the building of the relationships. It really is. I think it's something that I excelled at where I was, but I didn't get a chance to do much of it. Certainly not like I do here.
You said you're just coming off your first year, heading into your second year now. Do you have a list of things you sort of been ticking off of things you want to accomplish? Are you making your way through that list, or is it?
Yeah, we're getting through that list in a hurry, and I think putting computers in the cars, the new car, fixing the station up. We're on to now more of the administrative tasks, because the housekeeping things are done, and some of the updating of the technology is done. We've done some of that with our connectivity and so forth. So yeah, it'll be more administrative tasks, more things that you might not see so much, but they'll help us a great deal. Redoing our policies and procedures, redoing some of that. We've got an officer retiring at the end of the year, so we'll be looking to hire another guy at that point. That's our goal this year. Succession planning is important, so training is important for these guys to make sure that if I get hit by a bus, that somebody's ready to step up, and that there's a chain behind him that's ready to take those positions that are open down the line, because as you move up, everything opens up down the road, and that they're capable of that, if I don't exist, and I believe they are. We've been to some good training this year. We'll go to some good training next year.
Obviously, training can take a big hit on a budget. Is that one of those things where you've been able to manage, to get some more money for training, or is it still sending one or two guys and having them come back and share that information?
We try to do that. I'll be going to the IACP this year. It's in Philly, so it's nice and close, which is the International Association of Chiefs of Police Conference. There's a lot of information we get there, a lot of training we get there that I can pass on.
Mark likes to go to IHOP.
Me too. Chocolate chip pancakes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. The IACP is close, so it's nice. And I do like to do the train-the-trainer stuff, but sometimes you just got to send them off. There's one of my guys is a traffic homicide investigator. He's got however many years he's got left. He says 4. We don't know. It might be more, it might be less. That's up to him. But I have to make sure that those skills are replicated, because they're very special skills. And he's very good at it, and he's automatic at it. But I've got to get another guy ramped up to that. So he'll be going to that series of schools. He's been to one. He'll go to the others. And, just make sure we're ready to do what it is the community expects of us. And I think they are. They're well trained. They do pretty good. For the amount of guys we have a lot of skill.
Well, that and the fact that all the guys seem to be cross-trained well at what they're doing, too.
Yes, and that's important. That's important because we all handle everything. So, there's only a couple of us in at a time. You can't be calling the guy in that does this. Now, the traffic homicide thing is very different, but we have, knock on wood, very few of those. But we do have them, and when we have them, we want to investigate them properly. So it's just, we have some guys that have seen a homicide or two, and luckily we don't have too many of those either. But when they do happen, we need to make sure that the crime scenes are protected, that we're taking care of business there properly.
We will see you at the end of August, and that's going to be right when school's starting, so we can get into maybe some of those safety tips for folks. Sure. Again, just a reminder. But until that time, still the summertime mode, right? Bicycles, pets, things like that.
Exactly. Bicycles, kids, pets, cookouts, county fairs. We're having ours coming up. We're going to be traveling over there, traveling back. Don't drink and drive. It should be obvious. You got to keep saying it, though. And if you've had too much to drink, call somebody, have a driver, stay where you are. It's okay. It'll wear off in a while if you just stay there. That kind of thing. And, if you got kids, you got to keep track of them. You got to know where they are, got to know what they're doing. and make sure they're not getting into mischief. Make sure they're not doing things that are going to hurt them.
Make sure you're not locking them in a car.
Well, you know that
Or
that
a locker.
Or locker. It should be obvious. But these parents leaving kids in cars. You know, you got 3 kids. You never left them in the car. You know, did you have 4? You know, but seriously, cars get hot. You've got to remember that kid in that car. Do what you got to do. If you know, and a lot of times they say just take your cell phone before you get in the car and put it under the baby because you ain't getting out of the car without your cell phone. Or you'll remember when you don't have your cell phone on you where it is.
I don't understand how you would forget to.
I don't either, but it happens every day. It happened twice in Phoenix last week. Twice. In Phoenix, where it gets to be 232 degrees. I might be exaggerating.
Just a little. Well,
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
That's right.
Or
good research.
Exactly.
You live that every day, right?
More than you know.
Yeah.
As far as you know, yes.
Chief, great to see you.
Thank you.
Give everybody our best.
I really appreciate Sophia and her mama bringing in the donuts and coming in to see me. And again, I hadn't realized that they were the same folks that were in that crash. And just looking at mama, I remember her now. But I don't think Sophia ever got out of the car. It was February, I think, so it was freezing.
She had a lot of really good things to say about you the other day.
That was very nice of her. Yeah.
No, I think she did. I think you put her in your car because it was warm.
Yeah, oh, maybe I did. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good for me. I'm that kind of a guy. I mean, I'm a really nice guy. People don't understand me. I don't think I get enough credit.
On that note, have a wonderful day.
I will.
We'll see you next month.
Yes, sir.
Mark has a final look at news coming up next.